Okay. Who knew? Who knew that when Miss Betty Love chose her lunch buddy, that little boy would have such an effect on our church so much later? Day and Miss Betty became lunch buddies when Day was only, 5 or 6 years old. When Bowling Green Presbyterian Church started their Parents' Night Out program, Miss Betty brought Day. As the program changed, Day kept coming. When he became ready to join the church, he joined Bowling Green Presbyterian Church in a little different way, but he still joined our church. That was his choice, and he's become a talented part of our family. Now, as our choir director, Day has helped keep our music program growing and up to date. When our music director, Cindy, decided to leave, Bowling Green was fortunate to have a very talented John Austin King, just a high school student. John Austin was and is a phenomenal pianist. We were treated to a recital every Sunday. John Austin enjoyed adding notes to songs, just beautiful, and it's like he couldn't get enough in there. Day would find a little extra help to add to our choir at times. Blue, Todd, and Alex, and lots of others added voices and substance to so many of our services. I can't talk. Todd, we found out, was a pianist also. A few times when the choir was singing a song that John Austin particularly loved to sing, Todd would play so John Austin could sing. It was almost unnoticeable when they switched places. So John Austin left and went to Germany for a music festival in the summer before he went off to college. With John Austin gone to college, Todd became our pianist, improving all the time, and boy is he good. He's great and brought us up to date with a keyboard instead of a traditional organ. With a keyboard you have an organ, a piano, and many other instruments. An added feature of the keyboard is that music for a song can be recorded ahead of time, so if Todd's going to sing, he could play the song ahead of time and record it and then just hit the play button and he could sing with the music. I always wish they had asked some random worshiper to play while he was singing. Johnny Doolin told him that if the music had played like it set by itself when he was a kid, he would have fled out of there and it would have freaked him out. Todd's home is in Aiken, South Carolina. We have a service on Christmas Eve, which would mean Todd would have to leave after a service and drive home to be with his family, and he'd be very late. Now, year before last, John Austin played so Todd could go home. And this year, of course, Todd went home and Day played. John Austin also, by the way, played for many churches in Clover at the same time. Sometimes he'd have 2 or 3 services. Of course, he always liked us best. I believe God plans way ahead. I think we're a blip in the whole universe of God's plan. And if you think about the way things have seemed to fall in place, you can see that God's in control always. Mamie Long's are really good at many things. She married Keith Long, and together they raised 2 fine boys. Loved and enjoyed Keith's daughter and her husband, and especially loved being a grandma to Jeannie's son and daughter. Mamie also has lots of other talents. One is that she's very good with computers and electronics. She's also sitting right over there just smiling because she knows I'm telling the truth. If you needed something done on your computer and you got a problem, especially like if you're computer dumb, we call Mamie and she takes care of it. A few months ago, Mamie had an idea and started to use her telephone to put our worship service on Facebook. It worked okay, but was not nearly what it could have been. The battery would get dead, or maybe your arm got tired, I imagine. You couldn't hear quite as good, maybe. So, Mamie became determined to fix this and get our church on Facebook Live. I made the comment that this was Mamie's ark. She talked to people that did this sort of thing for schools and other churches. She researched some of this equipment and the internet service and the way things would need to be. She got prices and estimates and got the session on board. And about 2 weeks before this virus shut us down, it really came together. God knows when we need this stuff. To get our service ready, not only for Facebook Live, but also YouTube, one more piece was needed. And Michael Brown, who had worked on this in his former church, became involved, and the plan came together. Together, they really put us on the right trail. Sometime during this period of getting things together, maybe just throw up our hands and say, I quit, I'm done. Only to start looking again the next day. Like I say, just a few weeks before the virus shut us down, things came together just in time for the online services to keep our sermons and devotions going. God put Mamie onto the task of having that service out for us in the public, like a fever that took over. We're lucky to have her. God works through us in many ways, and he certainly works through Mamie. Remember when in 1 Samuel, when in the middle of the night God called Samuel, and Samuel thought it was Eli, and he went to him 3 times, and then it dawned on Eli what was happening? Well, God calls us like that too, and sometimes it takes us a while to really understand it too.